So
Yes.
first of all, architects cannot say AI is not coming for them.
But in the context of architecture, I don't think AI can replace that main purpose of an architect.
We have kind of watered down our value as architects. People only want to now know what the final product is.
A lot of architects are not aware that there is a learning curve to AI.
Yes.
Is AI going to take some architects' jobs? Hello and welcome to this edition of Architects Podcast. My name is Odo Peter, and today we will be discussing if AI is coming for architectural jobs. You know, the technology around the world is constantly changing and improving, and AI is the new thing right now, and a lot of professions are trying to adapt to the use of artificial intelligence in their practice. To be discussing today this beautiful topic with me, I have
I'm Henry from Architect Piper channel, so I want to appreciate Architects Podcast for giving me the opportunity to be here.
Okay, I'm God sent Columbus. Well, I'm happy to be part of this episode of On the Architect Podcast.
These are two young, prolific architects, and we all work together in the office. So we'll be diving into this topic and dissecting it for ourselves, what it means, really. First of all, we'll look at the impact of AI in the practice of architecture. Then secondly, we would examine the future of architecture as we try to predict it. And thirdly, we will be trying our possible best to advise architects and young architects how to skill up to be able to function in an AI-dependent or AI-intertwined architectural practice in the future. So let's get into it. What do you think? Give me your overall view of AI as you understand it and architecture. What AI
Okay,
is
so
what's happening.
I've come across some AIs, like maybe in the past few years or let's say months.
Okay.
And we first need to understand what is AI and how it can be applied into architecture. So from my understanding, AI obviously means artificial intelligence. So by this artificial intelligence, are you saying is the AI thinking for you, and which aspect is it going to think for you? So basically, from what I know, you can use AI to generate plans. I've heard that some AIs can generate plans, but most of the plans I've heard it can do, it's not like it will just generate kind of a generic plan, not specific to any context. So that is a disadvantage here. And I've also heard AI in visualization, that maybe you can draw some sketches. Like let's say you're using Prom AI, you can draw some sketches, put it into Prom AI, and it's going to generate some rendered image, even though it still has its limitations. So in the end, the question you now ask is, where is the intelligence of this AI when almost everything it does is still human dependent? Okay, so I think we'll now need to go back and look at the point of view of what is an architect, or what is the function or the value of an architect. Because over the years, you see people have this, will I call this a misconception of tying additional skills that an architect has based on the time he's working in to his main value. For instance, in the 19th centuries, or rather the 20th century, around the early 90s, you see people tying the ability to sketch and draw to an architect as part of his main skills. But if you come to these 2020s and 2010s, 2022, 2020s, you now see that it's now more of, can the architect model, can the architect do visualization? Why? But there is still one constant quality of an architect that has always been consistent throughout the time, is the architect's ability to think and give solution. So I think that is the main function of an architect. That is the main quality of an architect. Then all this other stuff, they change with time according to what technology is available.
We all know, both of us, or three of us are aware that AI as a technology is being used across board, across professions. It's not just about architecture. And the tool is super useful. We cannot agree on that. So there are basic things we need to agree on for us to start a conversation on AI. The first thing is that AI is super important across all professions.
Yes.
Secondly is that a lot of the intelligence of AI is actually useful to everybody. So first of all, architects cannot say AI is not coming for them. Secondly, it's like saying that because technology is being in use in driving, for example, we can't use it in drawing. It's something that is inevitable that AI will be used in architecture. I think we can both agree on that.
Yes, we can
Fine.
agree.
So for us to begin the discussion, we've agreed that AI is indispensable to the architect. Then the question I want to ask both of you now is, where do you see AI being used in architecture?
Basically, there's the design phase, there's the research phase. That AI is good at something, which is being able to go through a lot of information at blitz speed and then bring out analytics from it. That's bring out relevant key points that can be useful in the design of buildings itself. So that's one area where at least we are sure that AI is very useful, because it will take you so long as a person individually trying to go through those researches one by one to get out any useful information for yourself in your design process. Then another area where AI has really shown itself strong, at least in recent times, is the area of the ability to imagine, the ability to generate images, to simply put. That's the ability to kind of give an overview of an understanding of when an architect or somebody that, let's say the average AI user out there, when they put in a prompt and then the AI's ability to understand a bit of what the person is asking for and give him a result in return. So that's something that we're also seeing over the years that AI has gotten better and better at. And I think coming down, we're still going to have we still have a lot of uses of AI aside this, but at least for the now, we know that when it comes to these two things, we cannot doubt the usefulness of AI in them, especially for the architectural industry.
Okay, so what you've just said now is AI can be used in research and can also be used in creative visualization to help the architects
and imagination.
inspiration.
Yes.
All right, Harry.
So, I'll first of all try to say I didn't per se belittle AI. I want to agree with the fact that he said that AI can be very useful. And I don't see AI as something as a competition. I see AI as a tool for architects, because there are a lot of things technology has brought to us that people will be like, if this stuff comes in now, I need to chase away this professional, which it can be true in some cases. But in the context of architecture, I don't think AI can replace that main purpose of an architect, which is to make decisions based on factors, creative decisions to solve design issues. So I'll go by giving an example now, using how AI can be applicable in a project, and why the architect will still be indispensable. Is that, for instance, you have project now and you want to maybe do a development for, let's say, a 4-bedroom duplex or something. What you can tell the AI, even if you describe the site features to the AI, a very powerful AI, it might make suggestions, but it's not going to make decisions of the locations in which, or the locations or the design choices you are going to make based on specific locations on that site. So I'm just
sorry if I can cut in a little bit.
Yeah.
We know that AI is going to get better in the future.
Yes.
So and it's based on the amount of information you impute on it. So just to follow up from what you are saying, what are the specific things that you think AI can do that may limit the role of an architect? For example, we're in a firm now. So let's say we have 10 in a firm.
Yeah.
And what specific job can we automate to make work easier for us with AI?
Yes, AI can be used for many applications. Like I said, it's a tool that is supposed to allow you to focus on the parts you are meant to focus on, and it's going to help you do some other processes, making you not to waste time. So, for instance, if you look at D5 Render, it's a real-time visualization software. So there is an AI feature in D5 Render that you can bring in an image instead of working for like 3 hours to get the right sun effect. You can bring in an image, and then it's going to just shorten the time for you, and maybe even if it doesn't bring you to that exact effect you want, it will bring you to a close enough point that you just adjust one or two things and you're where you want to be. So this is an example of how AI can help in the design development stage. When you have not yet created like the idea of the design is not yet fully developed in your mind. So AI can help you with that, because if you prompt an AI well, you'll be able to maybe put an idea that I want this building to look something like this, or maybe this kind of terrain. Then it can generate an image. It's not that the image will be accurately what you want, but once you are developing image and in all those development stages, it's going to help you build up on your idea more. So I feel that is where an AI can also help in the architecture and design process in an architectural firm. But like I said, all of this is still based on the human input inside the AI, which in the context of architecture, the best person that can put the right information for an AI to give results is still the architect. That's why I don't think I think architect's role will kind of, will I say, use the word mutate or modify a bit, but it doesn't still remove the relevance of an architect in the building industry.
Okay, thank you. You have anything to add?
Yes.
Okay.
A couple of things. I think speaking specifically, what AI or the major concerns that were being that's pushed the promotion of AI is repetitive tasks. That's things that we get to do over and over again. That we know that we can automate. So what we do is we find a means of automating those things, so that we don't have to take up man hours. For example, that's working in a business setting now, even for those that want or that are practicing individually already. Then there's also the aspect of the fact that now that we have removed some of these tasks that are repetitive, so to speak, from our hand, we can now focus on, like you said earlier, the core of what an architect should be, or the core of what should be an architect's focus, which is thinking. And I think generally the reason why a lot of people, or the reason why we're facing this issue now, where people are always so agitated about the fact that is AI going to take our jobs, or AI is coming for architects, I think it's because of the fact that we have kind of watered down our value as architects. When I say that, I mean that people only want to now know what the final product is. So people are more interested in how is the building going to look like eventually. I remember in one of our episodes where Onoshi said that you solve problem for clients and you don't let them know, and sometimes they're not aware of the problem that you solve for them. Now that is a problem in itself, because it means that in those areas where you solve problem for those clients, you are not esteeming your value, you're not presenting your value to them. Because a client should be able to also know that, okay, I'm working with this architect because I like the way he thinks, not just because of what the final result is going to be. And we live in a generation where we are very image intensive.
Oriented.
Yes, very image oriented now. So people just want to know what is the final product. So when something comes up that knows how to deliver the final product, then it now looks as if, oh, so it's like our job is going to go away. Whereas it's not supposed to be, because you are also solving problems for the client that is not aware. When the client puts in, let's say the clients put in their prompt, I want a 2-bedroom, modernist, contemporary, all this and that, and an image comes out, there are a lot of things around that image coming out that will make that building not to work on site, that the architect is supposed to fix and see to it that no matter what, or see to it that we can do plus and minuses and get that building to work on site. So we have that issue where people focus too much on the final product. And I think I don't want to be too sure, but I think architects are a bit to blame for this, because then it's not our fault entirely, because what we look at basically is the final product.
Okay. Thank you. I want to ask a question before I do the recap. Is AI going to take some architects' jobs? Yes or no?
Yes.
Look at that. I don't think I'm really tempted to say no, and this is the reason I'll give.
Okay. You give your reason, but it's no.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Most unless maybe very few on serious architects. Guys do want to take charge. But
Okay, sorry, I'll come back to you.
Yes.
Which architectural jobs will AI take
Which
from architects? Yes.
Well, at least for now, I think people that are very serious about visualization, they should kind of be afraid a bit.
Visualization.
Yes,
Okay.
visualization. Because by the time I get, let's say I'm only a visualizer, I'm not interested in design. Nothing about design concerns me. By the time I get the project file from the architect, all the problems have been solved already. So I'm only having to deal with the finishing part of the work, so to speak. So if we have an AI that is now so good that it can, which I think we are very close to that point at this point, that it can get exactly what you want when you prompt it, then the person that focuses only on visualization, his job is actually
All
at
right.
risk.
So visualization, although it's not a key job of architects, but
Yes.
is a job that a lot of architects do. So that's not it.
I actually
All
have
right.
a bit of objection to that. But
Okay.
see where I will start.
Yeah.
He said, I don't agree with the point that he made that we are very close to that, because by very close, I don't know of any plugin to AI plugin to Revit that will actually take the details, the exact pinpoint details of your model and visualize it that way.
There are quite. I think there is. If
There
you
is a
check,
plugin.
yes, there are plugins that already work
And
with
you
AI.
can do, and okay, if so, that means it's actually coming close. But I'll say in terms of the architects, I wanted to use like a historical context to back what I want to say. This is not the first time we're hearing of architectural jobs being taken, or architects are no more doing anything. Before, in all this, let's say the early 90s, all these
God, the big
foreign
God.
modern architects like Frank Lloyd Wright, they used to actually use drafting tools and draft with ink. Even in some schools today, they still draft. So you now see older colleagues, senior colleagues in the profession. Some of them have the opinion that people now, they don't know how to design. Is Revit designing for them, or AutoCAD? See, these tools are tools because they are reducing the work. If you are sketching, you need to draft with pencil. Then after you have confirmed the whole stuff with pencil and you have gone through the presentation stage, you now carry ink and used all those time in the world. You see like 5 people for very big projects drawing on the same paper. All those kind of work. So these technologies have come to reduce all those work and streamline your work, kind of focusing all the architects' focus into the thinking process now. So let's say the thing started from people. An architect is hailed for being able to think and also draft, and an architect can draw very well. Then it now evolved to an architect can draw very well, and an architect can think, and he can also model very well. So now it's now going into the time of an architect can think, he can model, then he can use prompt AI very well to render. So all these kind of things is just like a metamorphosis. It doesn't mean that the architect role is still going out, unless is some sci-fi movie level of stuff that maybe an AI will be able to do that core aspect, which is thinking and profiling solutions better than a human architect that is trained in the field. So that is just
All right.
the way I
So
see it.
from your thinking, you are suggesting that AI will not wipe out architects,
I don't think so.
but it would aid them in their work.
Yes, it would.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there are some works that an architect is doing now that may not be so relevant in the future due to the fact that AI may be able to provide quick visualization to aid in the
So
design.
I think I will interject here. An architect is not a visualizer.
Yes,
I
that's
know.
true.
We agree on that.
Visualization is a skill, is an art for you to be able to recreate scenes with the models someone has designed or you have designed. That is an art in of itself. So that art, maybe you can argue that there are some AIs that can. I don't think there's any AI that can render at the highest level. But let's say there's an AI that can create a rendering of the highest level for a model, and you actually get all the features of that model accurately, like from the modeling software. Okay, you could say that is chasing visualizers out of the market if they can make
But right
something
now,
like that.
there is none in the market, I think, that can
I
replicate.
don't think.
the
I don't.
model.
I've not heard.
They may get it up to 90-95%. But you know the thing with technology is that it moves very quickly. So
Yes.
we might be here discussing about the fact that
Yes,
tomorrow you
yes.
just go online and see that somebody has done
So
it.
for visualizers, yes, they might be in trouble.
So
but
the question now is, since we know that AI can assist us in certain things, and how do we prepare for an AI future? Because the truth now is, if you keep doing the old things you are doing, AI can come and wipe you out very quickly.
Yes.
And like we know, the AI is always learning. So it just started, and it's able to produce this in its early stages. We don't know what's happening in the next 10 years.
Yes, there's still a
And
lot
the
of
truth is,
potential in
there
it.
is always, as long as we have something called generative design, things
Yes.
can easily get better. Because the more it generates, the more it learns, and it can learn faster than us. So, for example, I might want a design that has to do with Igbo traditional architecture. I only need some items and icons. I might need to source them. I might not be an architect, but I need to source some items and icons I think should be part of the building. If I'm good with the prompt, it can use those images I've given it, something like Midjourney or Leonardo.ai. I'm not advertising them, but those softwares, apps, they can actually help generate. Even Adobe Generative Fill can sometimes help. So a lot of AI can generate, because the more images and drawings and context they study, they get better.
They get better.
For me personally, I think architects should begin to prepare for a future with AI. We should begin to see items of our work that can be automated. And those items of our work that are automated are most times the items of work that can keep us working over time. We can say working drawing, for example. We can say mostly around working drawing
Yes,
for now can be automated. We can also say things around visualization can slightly be automated.
Yes,
Because once there are AIs now that can convert an image to a video. So those kind of things can save time
save a lot of time.
with regards to the ability to show a prospective client what their finished product might be. Have you used any AI tools in your own work? I would want you to think about it, because we are using software tools. Have you been able to use any AI tool in your own architectural work so far?
Yes, I have.
Which AI tools have you used?
There's an AI tool I used, I think it was not too long ago. Spacio.
Spell it, sorry.
SPACIO.
Okay.
So what it does is, it has almost like a Google Earth platform.
Okay.
So you can get your basic information, not the detailed one. You can get basics on-site information, and then plot out. You can plot out the geometry of your site on it, and then you can immediately begin to test out generative ideas of forms, generative ideas of spaces in between buildings, generative ideas of like how many cars can you park in a certain location on the site. So those kind of features are very useful for like especially beginning stages of conceptualization, where the client is not sure what he wants yet, the architect is not sure what he's going to produce yet. So everybody is still trying to figure out what it requires to bring out the proper design for this project. So Spacio was an AI platform that I use for something similar.
All right.
Okay. Personally, I don't want to call names because I've not really had the best history with AI tools.
Okay.
But I'll just say there is this AI I used. I will not call the name. Before they'll say I'm spoiling their name on this platform. But even though the AI, the promise was you put in an image or sketch and you get a visualized image of it.
Yes.
You get. So after trying to prompt, I'll admit I'm not the best prompter, but I tried my best and used other AI, normal generative AI like ChatGPT and Perplexity to generate prompts for certain effect I wanted. And I wasn't too impressed, even though the AI tried what it could do. But I wasn't still too impressed. I didn't think this could replace my visualization.
As at now?
As at now.
But do you think it has prospects to replace it in the future?
If the AI becomes more powerful, that I can take even basic instructions, not necessarily needing very professional prompt. It's able to get to that level that you can explain some things to it, and it will.
So you can say one of the challenges of AI is prompting.
It's prompting.
Do you agree?
A lot of them.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
But most people, when AI is, because it's easy, people don't think that there has to be a learning curve for it. So I just feel, just tell me the platform or tell me the website,
and you go and type
I
anything.
start typing what I want, and then
Yes.
if I get a result I'm not happy with,
You
it's easy
blame-
for me to discredit. But then you know that you have to learn what it means to prompt. You have to learn how you are supposed to arrange the words in such a way that the AI can easily understand what exactly you mean. And I think for certain platforms there are specific keywords if you want specific effects on your visualizations, where you have to put in those keywords, and without those keywords the AI will struggle to understand that this is what you want exactly. So because of the fact that it's easy, because of the fact that it's quite straightforward, that's using AI to generate images, they just let me just launch in without any prior knowledge of how the software or how the platform is supposed to work.
I think what you're saying is very important, because the AI is very important, useful, but if you don't know how to use it, it would not be that useful to you. Especially with every technological tool, you may have the best tools, but you need to know how to use it. And a lot of architects are not aware that there's a learning curve to AI, because if you understand the back end of the AI tool itself, you will now understand how to develop prompts to reduce errors. Because if you leave the prompts open-ended, then you may not get what you want. So I think from what we've said, architects should first of all try to skill up in terms of understanding how prompts work with AI. And then the AI market for architects is still developing. For me, I think AI can come in every aspect of architectural practice. We can use AI in brief detailing. So if right now, a lot of language-based models are able to communicate very effectively. So if you have a brief and you want to detail it properly and have a good conversation with the client, you can actually use AI to help you with those stage. And you can also use AI in planning the design phase. What I mean is trying to get an outline for the time frame, get a discussion about the zoning and spaces, have more research done in very short time. And this can, in the past, they can take a lot of time. So the fact that an architect can do this will give an architect an edge going into the future. And finally, like we said, AI can improve your creative aspect, because whether we like it or not, so AI can support us in a creative aspect, because if you have an idea, you can use image generative AIs to assist you in bringing that idea to life. So with regards to that, AI can actually help there. So I think architects should begin to tool up with implementing their design process with AI. The AI is not going to give you the final answer, because that's, like you said, that's where the actual creative thinking and design goal will be the job of the architect. But the AI can make your work smooth to that goal. It can give you ideas, it can give you inspirations, and you can have both conversations with a language-based model and an image generative model to enable your workflow to be optimized. I think that works for both of us.
Yes.
All right. So let's discuss the next phase of our discussion. Let's discuss, I just want to hear your ideas on how architects can stay relevant in the next 10 to 15 years. What will you advise a young architect coming up in the profession with regards to AI? What tools or what skills or processes or thought process would you want a young architect to go through with regards to practicing the profession to the future?
I like to say the first thing is everybody needs to keep up with the times.
Right.
There is a trend of, will I say, some people that have this kind of, I've noticed this especially in a certain set of professionals, that they don't like moving on or keeping up with what is going on. They would rather stick with what they have been doing 10 years ago rather than keeping up. You see some people still only using CAD drafting up till 2025. That is the only thing they know how to do, or they want to know how to do. So that kind of, will I call it, attitude towards progression, I don't think is a good one. I think people should be willing to evolve as things are going forward. Like, as you said, going back to AI as an example, I've used AI to help. Like AI can be very helpful in the design process. So it's like imagine me saying because of I know how to use, let's say Revit, I'm okay with it. I'll not go on with the times or start implementing AI into my design. So that is a very important aspect that I feel that every young architect should aspire to follow. Always make sure you're keeping up with the times. You have the internet, and the thing us one thing us in this generation we have that the previous generation didn't have is access to information. So anything that is happening, you have your phones, you can see it on YouTube or maybe on trend on X and all those stuff. So you have access to this information. So it's just a matter of you just stepping up, and once you learn a new thing, be curious, inquisitive, check out what you can do and check out how you can implement it, whether it's something you can bring into your own design process and just improve on yourself.
All right, thank you. So people should be free flowing.
People should be open-minded.
Yes.
Don't right. I know how to use this one, so
don't get stuck up. All right, consent.
So basically, I just want to pick two things from what he said.
All right.
When he talked about access to information,
yes,
and then curiosity.
Okay.
So it's just generally the problem with part of the problem with the way the world is going now is that sometimes when you leave school, you just you are no longer, you know, for example, when you are in school, you are very you are interested in matching up to your competition in class. So, but when there is no longer that pressure when you graduate, when there's no longer that pressure when you are practicing on your own, then there's that tendency to be complacent where you just feel like if something has worked, then I should always use it. If this is how it has always been done, then let's be okay with it being always done like that, which is not good for any professional at all. Now, I just want to give, I think recently I found I think it was a YouTube video where I think it was a BIM architect, so to speak. They did, and it was very easy. They found a way to integrate something like ChatGPT into Revit. Now that's and when we're talking earlier about the fact that in working drawings, AI can help us do like repetitive tasks, yes, meaningless tasks like creating sheets, putting your views on the sheet. And in the video, I saw that they were able to like ask ChatGPT, the AI assistant on the Revit app was able to communicate with every other part of the Revit software such that they were able to create sheets. They were able to just instruct it, duplicate so sheets and duplicate so views and place on the sheets. That's kind of like where
you can come in.
Yes, that's kind of like where we have this AI. That's how close it's getting to entering into the very basic software that we use for architecture design and documentation.
All right. So thank you. So what your advice is for young architects is that they should continue learning.
Yes,
that's a summary of what both of you have said.
To add to what you just said now, there's one thing I've noticed. It's like, will I say, kind of, it's not really anything special, but just something I've observed. If you come to a firm or an establishment that the people in that establishment or firm, you know more than them by much, you notice you won't improve, but it's them that will improve because of your presence there. So what happens is, if you have a lot of people have come to a firm and have stayed for, like, let's say, work together for like 5 years, you see that almost everybody there will be at a similar skill level, and the development will kind of slow down. So that is now when you now have to consciously try to push yourself and look for more things you can learn, because once you reach that point, it will no more be there's this guy in the office that knows this and knows that you want to meet and be learning from.
Yes.
So all right. So I think young architects, we've had it, and even architects that are not so young but are practicing into the future, is that there are tools that will always help architects. We have BIM tools that we are using presently, and we are still trying to get a hang of it. We have parametric tools that enable us to design non-metric shapes. That's shapes that are very complex. And then we also now have AI tools that are supposed to streamline our works. The disadvantage of this sometimes is that all these things have not yet been incorporated into the study of architecture, because the school curriculum sometimes is very slow to change. But the truth of the matter is that if you're an architect that wishes to excel into the future, you have to have these skills. So you have to focus and try and see how you can learn it even while in school and while out of school. And then you are able to use these softwares or these applications at the right place and at the right time. That's another danger we do have. The softwares, the apps, the artificial intelligence, they will not replace your creative ability to make decisions. They can only support it.
They can only
yes, and enable you to get so. We've already advised young architects. We've talked about AI and the future. Is there any other thing you think it's worthy of note?
I think we have covered, as far as AI is concerned, we have covered what it is, the advantages and the potential limitations, and how it's supposed to be perceived. So I think from the whole conclusion, we can conclude that yes, the architect's activities might change due to these arising technologies, but in the end, we still need to treat these things as what it is, a tool to aid us in profiling our services and solutions. So we shouldn't look at it as a threat that is coming to scatter everything we might do. Maybe in future it might be, who knows what they can cook. So so we can never tell. But for now, from what I'm saying, it's a tool that is going to like make things faster. A lot of my research during design, let's say I was tasked to design a mosque one day. So I'm not a Muslim, but I needed to understand how a mosque design works in details. So I went to AI and said, see, I have a design in so and so site. I want to design a mosque. Please help me break down the needs of this facility. So I was able to learn a lot from it. So normally that kind of thing will, if AI wasn't available, it would take me going to internet and looking for any publication that I've talked about a mosque design in details to get all those spaces. Then I'll still have to do the design, and there might still be some spaces lacking. So all those running around, AI just kind of reduces everything and streamlines your process. So in the end, this stuff is a tool, and has been like this since the progression of time. Every profession used to be clustered before. Then once the information in that profession becomes too much, it breaks down into separate professions. Then those professions, the information becomes too much, it breaks down. So with all this stuff, changing professions, technology also comes into play. And with this technology, you now see some professionals called AI, I think they used to call them AI something, AI artists. Yeah. So that is already a profession. So these stuffs are just bound to happen. It's just for you to adapt to it and know how you place in our current day. So I don't think architects should look at AI as a threat, but rather they should look at it as an opportunity for a tool to make things faster, because that is what technology is about, making life easier for everybody.
There's something that he said now that's about people now beginning to brand themselves as AI artists, and I think that's something that happens almost every time there's a innovation or something new in any industry. People try to seek or take advantage of it, and then just try to unnecessarily overestimate their value based on the fact that they now know something. And now the thing about it is that if even in your quest to like be prepared for the future or learning the tools that will enable you to be relevant in the future, you have to realize that you have to start making sure that you can begin to use them in the processes that are available now, because you would be required to prove your worth. You can't just walk into somewhere and say, because I am an AI artist or because I'm an architect that integrates AI into his design flow or design workflow, my charges should be double of what they would normally be. I remember there was one time where the sustainability movement was really high, and there was lots of people claiming claiming, because we were not sure.
Sustainable architect,
Lead
lead certified.
AP, lead certified, lead this, lead that. And then I think even we in school, we did it too, because the lecturers too were pushing for it, like, can't you design something green? Are you not seeing the whole world is moving
Putting
towards
grass on the roof.
sustainability? So then we now go to Pinterest and then type sustainable design and look at the images, all of them, there's green roof, there's
Grass
green
on the
facade,
roof.
and then just pick and drop. And then we never really get to know why or how the philosophy or the idea behind green design, behind passive design, behind all the concerns around sustainability, and how they should be applied to design itself. So that's something that we should be watchful of. Just learning things in isolation. There should always be a method or a way you can keep track of yourself and make sure that whatever you are learning, you are integrating it into your present workflow. And because if it's true that technology is supposed to make our life better, then it's not supposed to be something that is going to happen in the future. The day they release AI, that same day people started using it, and people found the use for it the same day. So if we have new technology, I should be able to make use of it considering all the current workflows I already have. So I just think that's something to be aware of.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. I really enjoyed our discussion. I've had so much takeaway from this discussion. The last thing you said about not learning in isolation is very important, because architecture is part of a multidisciplinary industry with the engineers and contractors and builders. A lot of people are involved. So when we have a tool that aids the architectural process, it should also be able to enable us to communicate effectively with other team members. And so we will continue to explore this idea of AI. We encourage young architects and others listening to us to take a dive into it, to not be scared or worried about the fact that AI is being implemented in architecture. It's actually a good tool that, when used properly, will enable the architects to deliver better finished products. But there are wrong ways to use AI tools, expecting it to do all the works without you yourself doing anything. That will not happen, because it's not just about the prompts. There are a lot of cultural, social, site-specific context and constraints that affect every architectural edifice or work being done. So in that case, you need the skills and processes to have understood and mastered those skills and processes, even while you're in school, before coming to use AI. It is my hope that AI tools and advanced technological tools are introduced more and more into the architectural schools, so that it makes these architectural students, it prepares them for what they are going to see in practice in the future. So thank you for being part of this talk, and so thank you for being part of this podcast. I'm hoping that in the future we can dive into more expansive discussions. To our listeners and followers and viewers, thanks for hanging out with us. In our next episode, we will be exploring the transition between design and execution, especially in the Nigerian or West African context. We'll be looking at the gaps that occur between design and project execution and what happens in site. Make sure to check us out in that one. Thanks for watching. Ciao. Peace.